Hello, thanks for joining me. If you write about human rights in Hong Kong on Twitter, as I sometimes do, you're liable to get quite a lot of hostile replies. Some are obviously from bots, some are from Chinese kind of patriots, and some are from people, often British, who like to say that British journos like me have no right whatever to make judgments on China's human rights record because Britain launched the Opium Wars, didn't allow Hong Kongers to vote on their own future, and, oh yes, we sell weapons to Saudi Arabia too. What can you do? Well, you just carry on, that's what you do. So I'd like to look at one particular person in Hong Kong who's been in big trouble over the past few days and who shows a powerful spirit of resistance to the new Chinese order there. He's not one of those 21-year-olds who parade in front of the riot police demanding freedom of speech. He's only 4 years younger than I am, and he's seriously rich. Easily rich enough to have wafted off to some vast penthouse in Knightsbridge or Central Park West years ago and left Hong Kong far behind him. But he didn't. He stayed there because he believes in all the things many other Hong Kongers believe in, even though they've got far less cash and status than he has. His name is Lai Chi-ying, but everyone calls him Jimmy Lai. He was born in Guangzhou in China in December 1948, a few months before the Chinese Communist Party under Mao Zedong took power. When he was only 12, Jimmy stowed away on a boat and escaped to Hong Kong, where he immediately found a job doing child labour in a clothes factory for $8 Hong Kong a month. Jimmy was good, really good. He became factory manager, and then, in his 20s, he bought out the owners of another factory and began making sweaters, which he sold to various big American fashion houses. But Jimmy was never content with simply making money. Like so many Chinese immigrants to Hong Kong, he had a powerful dislike of communism and loved the freedom that Hong Kong gave him. He set up Next magazine and later the newspaper Apple Daily. Pretty sensationalist, but with some famously good political and business reporting. And when the Chinese Communist Party massacred people in Tiananmen Square in June 1989, Jimmy became one of China's noisiest critics. His Apple Daily was also really good at drawing attention to corruption in Hong Kong itself, particularly after the handover to China in 1997. He became China's second most read newspaper, and the authorities in Beijing hated him and it. On the 30th of June this year, if you recall, China bypassed the Hong Kong legislature and introduced what the legislature had refused to pass, the National Security Law. That made colluding with foreign forces a crime. Jimmy Lai said the law was the death knell of Hong Kong. He could have easily got out then and there. He's got British and Taiwanese nationality. But he decided his place was with the people of Hong Kong and that he'd take whatever they had to take. Last Monday, sure enough, Jimmy was arrested for colluding with foreigners and with fraud. 200 Hong Kong policemen raided the offices of Apple Daily and took away loads of documents. Jimmy was released on bail, like other freedom of speech activists who were arrested at the same time. And the first thing he did was to go back to Apple Daily, where the staff and plenty of passers-by gave him a hero's welcome. "We'll fight on," he told the staff. "We have the support of the Hong Kong people. We can't let them down." And indeed, people have been showing their support for him by buying up the shares in his media company. They shot up by 1,200% in 2 days. That's a very Hong Kong way of resistance. The Chinese media, meanwhile, Beijing government's faithful servants, have called for Jimmy Lai to get exemplary punishment for treason, whatever that means. Long prison sentence, I suppose. It's a bit like battery chickens complaining about the noise which free-range chickens outside are making. Well, there it rests for the time being. And I'm sorry if Britain launched the Opium Wars against China. Actually, I really am. But I do think that free-range journalists of every nation have a real duty to speak up for the genuine heroes of freedom of speech around the world. And Jimmy Lai is certainly one of those, I promise you. Well, that's it from me. I hope to see you again soon.